Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, time to get started here. Thank you so much. We've got a great crowd here. We're up to 138. I want to remind everybody that if you have or know anybody in your life who's dealing with any of these types of issues, and that should probably be most of you, please feel free to invite them, and everybody's welcome. And if somebody can't make the session, it's no big deal. I am going to record these and I'm going to post them for everybody to see. So everybody is welcome. And put it this way, only humans. So, and everybody, hey, got a nice looking group here today. Natalie, Jody, Tom, Kim, Scott, this is just great. Thank you so much. Now I don't feel like I'm just sort of talking to myself or my cat. That helps an awful lot. So healing the human brain, very exciting month for me. We had a big contest to determine what the cover is going to look like. Very exciting. Tayeg Prima, I have to work on his last name, but Tega from Indonesia won. We had 27 artists who submitted about 180 different designs. And so we made some tweaks and a lot of you voted and gave us your comments. That was wonderful. Really appreciate it. Now, a couple things here. We're going to launch the book in October. And I'll tell you, so many of you that I know personally kind of know my feelings towards this. This is an important topic. Okay, this is really important. Okay, and as I'm going to the end of my career, I want to wrap up my career by putting as many things out there that are helpful as possible. Okay, I started with my first book on how to increase your emotional intelligence and how you resolve conflict. And those are those EPR skills: empathic listening, parroting, and rewards. That was the very first book. The second one was applying those skills so that we can be tolerant. And I will tell you, it is amazing. Now, let's just do a little vote here. Let's get some, Annette's reading Brain Rules by Medina right now. Great. And you'll see all these brain books out there because there are, what we discovered in the last 20 years is earth-shattering, just earth-shattering. And that's what we're going to sort of talk about in here today. Okay. And so freeze right here. You can open your mic, you can chat me up like Annette just did, or you can use your reactions here. I'll get mine up there. All right. How many people here, you believe in some way you're different? And you can raise your hand if there. How many people you're different? Okay. All right. Now, wonderful, getting lots of, oh my gosh, look at all of these great hands up. I'm getting absolutelys. You guys are right on it. This is great. I love it. Is that a diversity issue? I thought this was a good message. I thought, and some of you I've talked to about this, Chris, I've talked to you a lot of the different folks, Catherine, we've talked. It is amazing how many folks that I get attacked over. Sheila, let everybody look at Sheila's chat. It can be a diversity issue. Absolutely. Anything that makes you different. Okay. And I'll tell you right now, the most discriminated against group of people in the world are people with disabilities. Lynn, thank you, Lynn. Lynn McNabb's telling us all of us are diverse. You know, it just makes me feel so good. You have no idea what this does for me. Releases all those eustress chemicals. There is not a month or a couple of weeks that go by where I don't get attacked because I'm white. I mean, really, I'm not kidding. This is a topic for Black people. It is a topic for all my Black relatives, all my Black cousins. Being a 5'11" female, yes, Tessa, is a topic of discussion. There you go. Tessa, let's talk about differences and tolerance for just a minute here, okay? Being tall as a woman works against you. Oh, Annette's telling us we are diverse, but it's not an issue. I wish that was true, Annette. Everybody's different. If you're tall on the guy, I'm a towering 5'6", so I look real good standing next to Tessa, 5'11". Okay. Okay. Actually, I got a picture of me standing next to Joey Bosa, who's like 6'6". He's literally a foot taller than me. Okay. Now, for every inch of height that you are taller, okay, that's worth $789 a year more if you're a guy. If you're a guy, that's per inch per year, but that works against you if you're a human. Hey, someone's got their mic open. Could you please make sure that that gets closed? You just want to make sure that they're closed. Unless you want to talk, that's fantastic. Okay. So you kind of see disabilities, mental disabilities. Oh, Chris, unfortunately, Annette, that's not the experience of most people. Diversity, differences, biases against differences. You know, Annette, I love your heart. That I wish everybody could see each other that way. Okay. And I'm you got to look at the chat here. Being overweight puts you at a disadvantage. Absolutely. What if you're too thin? What if you're skinny? Okay. What if you just anything that makes you different? So I'm talking to everybody. And I will tell you, this drives me crazy because whether you are Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, you all believe in the Old Testament. Okay? Annette, point taken. I was being literal like when I taught my kids. Annette, I'm going to compliment you. Actually, Annette, I love your comment and your attitude so much. You shoot me your hard copy email, and I'm going to send you a copy of my last book, Tolerance and Diversity for White Guys and Other Human Beings. Okay? Or if you want the more politically correct title, Living the 5 Skills of Tolerance. Okay, you see where I'm going? If you believe in the Old Testament, we're all related. Adam and Eve. If you understand science, the Human Genome Project, we're all related. All of us on this call right now are no more than 50 times removed from being cousins. Now, does that make you look at each other differently? And you know what that means? We've all got the same brain, which takes us to the book that's coming out next. And I am so passionate about this. Mental health. The way we treat each other is absolutely destroying the world. And I'm not being hyperbolic. Look at what is happening in the world. Is anybody here still surprised? Oh, thank you, Brenda. I am too. Excited about the book. It took me 21 years to research this. And I had to go research it from the neuroscientists because everything I was told from our $400 an hour psychiatrists who did not take insurance was wrong. It was wrong. You are not born with the brain you got. And if you are suffering from depression, if you are suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder, which is what I had, if you have anger in your temporal lobes, you can actually improve that and you might be able to cure it. I will tell you, if I listened to my psychiatrists, if we'd have listened to our psychiatrist for my son, I think my son would be working at Wendy's for the rest of his life. And I would probably not be here. Okay, so a couple things here. One is you kind of see how this is an inclusive group. I want to include people. I don't know anyone who isn't dealing with some mental issue, whether it's themselves or someone in their family. Okay, actually, let's do a poll right now. How many PTSD? Debbie, thank you. PTSD, that is exactly what I was diagnosed with. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. Thanks, Jessica's real excited. Executive team. Honestly, we're going to give this away on launch day for $1. $1. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking, how do we get this into everybody's hands? And I will tell you right now, this is the culmination. Because if you don't do what's in the first 2 books, you're going to need the third one. Okay, no doubt about that. Okay, and I'm going to show, and not only that, we're talking heart disease. Okay, so honestly, it's kind of funny. I push these books, and I was doing a conference here this year, and the chairman of the conference, I talk about the books and just chastised me for mentioning the books, and basically said, "Look, you're just trying to sell books. You're just trying to sell books." And I'm like, I want people to read the books. Okay, I'm already wealthy. Okay, I could retire if I wanted to. I do this because the day I stop doing stuff will be the day I die. And that is true. Okay, so honestly, if I wanted to retire, I could just retire. What do I want to do? I want this message out there. Oh, Debbie, retraining your brain to redirect your anxiety into some type of productive or happy thought can help. You see why this does me so good. And let me close with one other story that I have to try to overcome. I sent this specifically out to so many public sector organizations, and a lot of you are with the public sector. I got a call, and understand, I don't want to pick on the public sector, but it's so political. It's so political. Okay. And I've heard these stories for 40 years. And I got a call from one of the large directors association here in the state of Ohio. And they wanted me to do a session on customer service. And I said, oh yeah, that's a great one, because customer service is nothing but employee relations turned outward. Employee relations is nothing but customer service turned inward. And so you've got to create a safe environment. And I want everybody to look at the chat here. We got people who are talking, I know somebody who is borderline personality disorder, bipolar. Yep, I've got them as clients. MS is an issue. We're going to talk about MS today. But, think about this, all of these conditions. And I said, you got to make sure that your people are motivated to create a safe environment amongst themselves. So I want you to listen here. I think it might be a good idea, and I've been starting a lot of my sessions this year this way, talking about mental disorders. And the truth of the matter is, 75 to 80% of everybody who retires through OPERS, that is Ohio Public Employee Relations Systems, is going to retire on a handful of psychiatric medications for the rest of their lives. That is actually true for all 50 states. California is actually a little higher than us. Go figure. Okay. So, I'll tell you, it is very scary, Chris. And I will tell you, you see the tie-in? If I didn't listen, honestly, if I listened to my psychiatrist, I'd be dead. I will show you why today. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jackie, large population of public employees are police, fire. Yeah, you're so right. And actually, Jackie, that statistic that I gave you for OPERS excludes police and fire, because Ohio Police and Fire have their own. That's actually 83%. Actually, 30% of all active police officers have active PTSD. Mental disorders are common. Now, let's go back. If you've got a mental disorder, do I really care what your color is? If you see a child hungry, do you care what color that child is? Do you care what religion that child is? Mental disorders are the one thing that includes us all. And you know what? It is funny. I explained, I said, I can have like 3 or 4 slides at the beginning, and I can show people, boom. If you do not create a good environment when you go to work, you are going to lose your mind. You are going to damage your brain, and that is a proven neurological fact. And you will get Alzheimer's. You will have heart problems. Now, to me, this is a very motivational thing. You know what the leaders of this Directors Association said that some of you belong to? Oh, we could never tell our people that. Nobody will work for us. Okay, I'm going to do a serious poll here. How many people, you hear that and you just want to throw up? I'm getting my thumbs up there. It makes me want to fire people is what that does. Okay, I tell you. Yeah, they're ashamed and embarrassed of seeking help. Thank you, Brenda. Absolutely. Those of us who work in public sector must do a ton of self-care because your employers just keep pushing for more and more and more. There you go. So, oh, thank you, everybody. Rob, your emoji is great. I got to find that here. Okay, so we're all on the same page. See where I'm coming from? That's why I like your cameras on. You got, I mean, honestly, I don't care what any of your demographics. You're related to me. You're as much related to me as the people that I can trace a bloodline to. Okay. And I'll tell you what just infuriates me is when I hear somebody say, oh, we wouldn't want to tell our people that, they'd be upset. No, they need to know this. It's killing them. Yeah, those who said that should lose their job. Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, you know what I do? Just brush off my shoes, go somewhere else. That's why I like coming directly to the people. Okay, so everybody with me? Where are we going? Okay, where are we going? Is it safe? Is it safe? This should be in all of your policy manuals. This should be in your DE&I. And it's kind of funny. I didn't even know what ERG was until I started doing consulting for it. And I know those employee resource groups. I've got 4 or 5 different companies I'm working with their ERG person. You know why? Because we want everybody included in your employee resource group. And I will tell you, the thread that binds us is that we're all human and we all want to be healthy. And most people have no idea that when you attack each other, when you are passive aggressive, and honest to God, I tried to call this directors association and talk to them. Typical leadership will not return my call. Passive aggressive. You cannot be in management if you're an attacker, fight, or if you're passive aggressive. So are you creating an environment where it's safe from germs? Did everybody see we got the next booster shot that came out? Everybody see that? Okay, so we're really concerned with germs. Are you going to go home with your fingers and toes? And here we go. Is it safe to be different? To be black? To be female? To be gay? Oh, it is not safe to be female to work in today's workplaces. And I do not care what the laws say. And you're talking to somebody who's practiced employment law for 26 years. Okay? 94%, according to the EEOC, about 94% of all women say that they have been harassed, sexually harassed, or they've seen it in the workplace. And the EEOC even said it is so unsafe in our workplaces that if you are sexually harassed in the workplace, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. And I suspect that that is also true if you are gay, if you are some, minority. Okay, so if it is not safe, thank you, Sheila. It's not safe to be different, is it, Sheila? Somewhere where you go today, somewhere where I go today. LP's telling us, I've even been kissed by a couple of clients and I was told, what's the issue? Because it wasn't on the lips. Oh, LP, we should talk a little more about that. Honestly, how many people think you probably shouldn't kiss your coworkers and people that you meet? Being minority days is anything other than white male. Yeah, very much. And let me clue you in here. I don't think it's safe to be anybody. The minute that I say nobody should be discriminated against, I get attacked. Oh no, we have to discriminate against these people. I'll tell you, no. If it isn't safe for everybody, then it isn't safe for anybody. You want everybody. I should get as upset when somebody picks on someone who is transgender or someone who is Muslim or someone who is an atheist. I should be as upset over that as if someone was picking on me personally. Okay. Sheila's telling us that she used to be greeted by a hug from one of her HR clients who was eventually fired for inappropriate behavior. And he was a site leader of 900 employee facility. Honestly, I have clients that hug me and things like this. Kissing is a little something different. I don't know. That'd be a good discussion one day. But I'll tell you, it's got to be safe for everyone. And no, you can't go pick on somebody or stereotype somebody for any reason. Okay, now, so remember our diagram? Oh, nice lead in here, Lynn. Tolerance is important, but also it does not mean everyone has to think the same. Lynn, you hit it just absolutely perfect. Lynn, that is so good. Shoot me your hard copy mailing address, and I'm going to shoot you a copy of the book. Okay. And Sheila, same thing. Same thing. Giving some great comments here. So think about this. I'm not going to pick on you because you're different. That's emotional intelligence. Intolerance is on the rise, Pamela, as is our mental instability. Do you know that the pharmaceutical companies are actually running out of antidepressants? Okay, so what is tolerance? I'm not going to pick on you because you're different. And I got that from NASA, if you remember from last time. It was not safe to speak up and disagree with the leadership when there was something wrong with Challenger and when there was something wrong with Columbia and people died. That's intolerance. Diversity of ideas, emotional intelligence. You got to control yourself. And if you can do that, you go to second base. EPR, which is how we always address and resolve conflict. Empathic listening, which means I shut up and listen from your perspective. Parroting it back to make sure we have common understanding, and giving you a reward whenever I disagree with you. Now, when we don't do that, what happens? What happens? Interpersonal distress. When someone is bullying you, that is 3 times worse. 3 times the cortisol and adrenaline surges through your body than if your computer won't start, than if you're overworked, than if your phone won't work, because your body knows your phone is not going to kill you. That person next to you very well might. So those primitive type of instincts of fight or flight kick in, and you are flooding your body with 3 times the cortisol and adrenaline. Now, we talked last time about what that does to your brain. We'll hit that a little bit more today, but Harvard Medical College tells us 80% of all of your doctor's visits are really distress related. Oh yeah, I'm getting some great comments here. I hope people are paying attention to the chat. Gracie, it's not safe to speak up where I work. That, and I'll tell you, the reason we're going through this is because, Gracie, I want you to go back and have these people listen to this Zoominar. This should scare the ever-living hell out of them. Unless they're suicidal, they better start getting in line here. Oh, and we've got some great comments here about doctors make mistakes because people are afraid to speak up. Absolutely. Happens all the time. Okay. So right here, Mendy's telling us this affects you physically and mentally. Absolutely. Back pain, neck pain, gastrointestinal disorders, headaches, insomnia, sexual dysfunctioning. And let me clue you in. If you are experiencing physical disorders, back pain, anxiety, okay, like your maybe angina, your heart, something like this, insomnia, gastrointestinal, your brain is already damaged. Already, it's the first thing to go. Why? Because 25% of all that cortisol and adrenaline is going to go right to your brain first. Smoking is actually healthier for you. If you smoke, smoking has a mortality factor of 1.6. Everybody's going to die. I hate to bring the room down. Everybody's going to die one day. Everybody has a mortality factor of 1. But if you smoke, you've increased your chance of premature death by 60%. That's bad. Chronic ongoing distress from bullies has an ongoing distress factor, mortality factor of 2. Everybody hearing me? What would happen in any of your workplaces if somebody lit up a cigarette? Wouldn't we throw them out? How many? Give me some input here. I think, I'm giving you my vote, I think we'd throw them out. But we let people go around and bully you and bully each other. And what is bullying? Well, if that was on the front page of USA Today, what would most people think? That's actually the test for bullying and hypersensitivity from the United States Supreme Court. Yeah, there'd be corrective action, wouldn't there be, Jody? Absolutely. But I'll tell you, no. Oh no. Okay, so no, that I'll tell you, that passive aggressive stuff, which is what most leaders do, that's got to stop, because you are flooding your body with adrenaline and cortisol. And let me tell you right now, your body knows how to respond to a physical attack. That's what our body is designed to do, fight or flight. It isn't designed for psychological attacks. I can tell you exactly what happened 10,000 years ago. If Barney Rubble was picking on or bullying Fred Flintstone, Fred would kill him. So that's one way to handle bullying, just kill him. Humans are 7 times more homicidal than any other mammal on the planet. What do I want for you? I want more stress for you, but the good stress. Eustress. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next few months here. Oxytocin, which is the happiness relationship drug, heals you. Dopamine, motivation. Serotonin, cures and combats depression. Endorphins are painkillers, and telomerase, which I'm going to go into detail today, make you younger. Make you younger. Oh, so let's look at our health risks here. Okay, so we've hit the brain a lot now. Heart disease and stroke. Let me explain why bullies give you heart disease worse than smoking. Okay, so that's a blood vessel basically, and when you are under stress, your fight or flight kicks in. Your fight or flight can kick in and speed up your heart rate 10 to 30 beats in one heartbeat. Now think about that. 10 to 30 beats in one heartbeat. Now think of it this way. That is so fast. And again, that's designed to get you away from a saber-toothed tiger. So you tell me, if you took a hose and threw it out in the snow, let it freeze, bring it in, let it thaw, throw it out, let it freeze, bring it in. You do that 2 or 3 times. Does anybody have an idea as to what's going to happen to the inside of that hose? It's going to crack and break. Yeah, it's going to crack and break. There you go, Russell. Absolutely. So, yeah, Kelly, Kathy, that's what's going to happen. So think about this. You get these little barbs from breaking the insides of your blood vessels, and these little barbs catch all the sticky plaque. Oh, and by the way, adrenaline makes your platelets sticky. So you start to get buildup, heart disease, and stroke. Okay. Now, what is that? Yeah, that's not good. Oh, and let me tell you, your brain, we can repair your brain. This you can't fix. This will kill you. Now, if it's in a larger vessel that we can spot or something like this, they can put a stent in. Okay. Well, wonderful. Here's a suggestion. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, yeah, it's about bullying with kids today. We'll get in talking to that later. Bullying children is particularly bad because their brains are still forming, permanent damage. And that's part of what happened to me, which gave me post-traumatic stress disorder. No. Creating an unsafe environment in our schools is just ridiculous. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Okay. Now, what else? Oops. What else happens? Okay. Now, this is what we call a bifurcation. It's just basically a fork in the road for your blood vessels. Okay. So you see the one on the upper left, nice and healthy. Okay. So what's going to happen here? Well, you get high blood pressure. And you can feel your blood pressure go up. I love this. Does anybody know anyone who shows their emotions on their neck that they're a human thermometer? You know, they start to get red, and then yeah, look at all these folks. Yeah, okay. First of all, you really want to play poker with these people. They're just like too easy, okay, to beat. But ears get red too. That's when you're really getting up there. Yeah. And that's a diversity issue too. Sheila, thank you. That is right. That's a diversity issue. Absolutely. It is a lot better to play poker with somebody from Ireland than someone from Somalia. Okay, because yeah, that's just a fact. Okay, so that's your blood pressure going up. Okay, that's what's happening. So your blood pressure goes up, and let's say you work with a bully, and that bully doesn't have to bully you. You just know it's coming, and it's waiting for it. Okay, so look what's happening in the upper right. You see how it keeps those blood vessels or those platelets who are now sticky from the adrenaline start bashing and crashing into the bifurcation, into the fork in the road. So look what it's doing. It's starting to damage it. It is starting to plaque buildup. Look at the lower left. It's building up more. The bifurcation, the inflammation is getting worse and the buildup. And then finally you get plaque. And let me tell you right now, if that breaks loose, goes to your brain, you're dead. You're dead. Breaks loose big enough, goes to your heart, you're dead. Okay. And let me tell you, wish we were talking about the brain again, right? Because this you can't fix. The brain and the liver are the only two organs that will repair themselves. Now, let me show you real life. And I'll tell you, I've had 21 years of research, 10 years of writing this book. I could have published it earlier, but I wanted to get the other two out first because you got to use your emotional intelligence. You've got to be tolerant. You've got to use your EPR skills. Freeze right there. You see why? I know I love this too, because I'll go into these DE&I committees. I mean, it's sad. I go into these DEI committees and these ERG committees. Do you think I look like I fit in? What do you think? I'm the only white person in the room. Okay, I'm usually the only guy in the room that's white. But you know what? Doesn't bother me, because you know why? Why am I there? Because we all need DE&I. We all need the ERG, and I am your biggest proponent. You know why? Because I don't want you to kill me. I don't want the stress. Yeah, and so it's kind of funny. I'm an afterthought, but hear this story from NASA. It used to be that NASA would fire 15% of all of the engineers on a rocket launch. And I will be perfectly honest, this is a fact. They're pretty much all white males. Okay. Has anybody seen the movie Hidden Figures? Let me see that one. Let me see that. Oh, I'll give you my thumbs up here. Oh, if you have not seen Hidden Figures, you got to watch this. I mean, really, it's kind of funny. They have a whole movie on this to tell you, hey, women can do math. Honestly, it sounds pretty stupid in the 21st century, but oh yeah. Now, all these white males, oh, great movie, Jessica. Absolutely. Okay, so NASA. These engineers are literally falling over dead. Oh, thank you, Sheila. Boy, Sheila, that's another stereotype, isn't it? Black women can do math too. And I'll bet you little black children can do math. And I'll bet you that little Canadian children can do math. And I'll bet you know what I'll bet you? I'll bet you pretty much every human can do math. Right? Isn't that true? Okay, so no, thank you. That was what Hidden Figures was about. Yes, you're right, because they were all black. Absolutely, you're right. Oh, and Sheila, everybody, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't really care what your color is. I love Kevin Costner. We all pee the same. I mean, now think about this, folks. In 100 years, are they going to look back at us and think how stupid we were? Like attacking the Capitol building? I mean, really, you got to think. What's history going to say about us? Okay, these engineers, they're all falling over dead. And you know what? NASA's like, oh my gosh, the Russians are poisoning the water. They're trying to kill us. So they went and checked out the water. It wasn't the water. The autopsies revealed that these NASA engineers in their 40s, in their 30s, in their 50s were falling over dead. And I mean, not just having like minor heart attacks. They were literally falling over dead. They went in and performed autopsies. It looked like a cat had been scratching away at the insides of their arteries and hearts. It ripped them to pieces. Now you know why, huh? Now you know why. And honest to God, you got some poor person that falls over dead right in front of you. Do you really care if it's a male or female? Do you really care what? See, this stuff is all artificial. Okay. Until a few hundred years ago, 500 years ago, we didn't even differentiate on race. Now we do, and to our shame. Okay. Now, what else do the bullies do to you? They make you sick. They make you. How many people have ever been, quote, quote, run down? Now, I don't mean by a car or anything like that. I mean run down and then you get sick. Okay, here's what's happening in your body. And I will tell you, you can thank HIV researchers for helping us to discover B cells and T cells. Okay, so here's what happens. Oh, Sheila, great one. Being run down is telling you, you got to change. You got to make some changes. Okay, now, here's what happens. You've got little B cells. B cells go out throughout your entire body and they look for invaders. Okay, they look for invaders. And when they find these invaders, they send a message back to the T cells. Now, the T cells are those little Abrams tanks. And they say, hey, we got an invasion over here. You got to come down here and start blowing this pathogen, this germ or virus over here on the right. You got to blow him apart. Okay, when you flood your body with so much cortisol, you flood it. So guess what? The B cells think it's a pathogen. So it calls up to the T cells and says, hey, we got to get people down here to blow these pathogens away. And it's cortisol. So guess what? You use up your T cells. So the next doorknob you touch and touch your face, you get sick. You don't have enough T cells left to fight the real viruses and germs. Is everybody with me? Oh, dangerous stuff. Dangerous stuff. And understand, that is your combative immune system. You got another immune system. You've actually got two immune systems. The other, it's called your innate immune system. It's for inflammation. You've all seen this. I just want you to start thinking this is part of your immune system. So you step on a piece of glass. Okay, what's going to happen? This guy stepped on a piece of glass, going to pull the glass out. What's going to happen to that foot? Anybody know? Just common sense. What's going to happen to his foot? I assume it's a guy. Infection. Yeah. Infection. Yeah. So that's why God made Neosporin or something like this. So it's going to bleed, Jody. Absolutely. So, you know, you're going to try to, you got to get tetanus. You might have to get a shot all around that area. It's going to swell up, isn't it? It's going to swell up. Yeah. It's going to be hard to walk for the next 2 days. It's going to be sore. Absolutely. Actually, this is kind of painful just looking at the cartoon, isn't it? Okay. That's why I use cartoons, because real life is just too terrible. Okay. What's going to happen? Your inflammation system is going to say, hey, we've got an invader. There's something down on the foot. Go blow it apart. And guess what? Your immune system makes that entire area swell and starts attacking it. Okay. That's what rosacea is. That's what happens when you hit your thumb with a hammer. Now, think about this. That's inflammation. This is good. But you want to hear about an interesting thing? If you've got anybody here have any type of inflammation condition or know somebody with an inflammation condition like rheumatoid arthritis, like MS, things like that. Anybody knows that? Yeah, Brenda. Yeah, eczema. There you go. Oh, look at all this. An MS patient. Yep. Okay, first, psoriatic arthritis. Look at, you see how we all share this? Everybody's got something. And I don't even care what your race or religion or gender is. This is a known fact, okay? When you are being bullied, when you are under chronic distress, you are going to exacerbate that situation. You're going to progress it. That is, we've known that for years. But guess what we just discovered in 2018? A longitudinal study discovered that when you are under chronic ongoing distress, you can contract these conditions. Everybody hearing me? It's not just that, oh, we got someone here telling us that they had fibromyalgia, now they've got an autoimmune disease that's attacking the liver, on and on. Yeah, stress and cancer. Okay, now you're starting to understand why, right? Now think about this. Inflammation is meant to help your body, but your immune system gets confused and it attacks healthy parts of your body. We know that it will exacerbate all these other inflammatory types of conditions. Now, there is an absolute direct link between that bully at work and rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, diabetes, which will kill you. Okay, is anybody thinking maybe we should create safe environments at work? We look what we do to the smokers. Oh, no. We got to get on this. Now, bullies will make you age. And why do I keep picking on work? Because the American Psychological Association says that is the number one stressor, and they've tracked this from 2007 in most years. When it's not the bullies at work, it's finances, which goes directly to your survival. Okay, we got to start doing something about it right now. So now look at Lincoln. This is amazing. Okay, look at him in 1860 before he grew his whiskers. Okay, he was elected. And when he was elected, he didn't have a beard. Started to grow it when he came to Washington. There he is in 1864. Do you see a stark difference? Now look at 1865. That's a little over 4 years. This is in April of 1865. Oh yeah, look at his eyes, Beverly. Look at that. Okay. Oh, look. How many years does it look like he's aged? More than 4? 20 years. Yes, Annette. Oh yeah, 10, 20, 15 years. Absolutely. Yeah, Sheila, you could show this for pretty much all our presidents. Most of them. Tanning booths can help you look a little bit better. Okay. Now, here's what's happening in your body. Those are your strands of DNA. Okay. See those little white tips? Okay. Those are your telomeres. Okay. Telomeres act like the aglets on your shoestrings, those little plastic tips. They hold your shoestrings together. That's what these telomeres do on your strands of DNA. They hold them together. Now, every time a cell reproduces, you lose a little bit of the telomere. Okay, so when you are under tremendous chronic stress, those telomeres speed up because the cells are trying to repair itself from all the cortisol and adrenaline that is surging through your body. Okay, so it unravels until the end. You look at the end there, that strand of DNA completely is destroyed. That is what we call aging. Your cells will not reproduce. And the average cell can reproduce maybe 50 times in your body. After that, it's dead. It's dead. Now, that is irreversible to a large extent. Everybody with me? Okay, that's what happens with chronic distress. That's what happened to Lincoln. Now, let's say you catch it early. Now, you see this strand here? Look at the far left. You see the strand hasn't completely come undone. But look at the red. That's the telomere. Do you see that green goo that's kind of surrounding it a little bit there? That's called telomerase. I told you I was going to tell you about telomerase. Telomerase is what you release in your body when you work with good people. How many people here have ever gone into work and the day just shot by? You loved it. It was hard. It was challenging, but you look up and the next thing you know, it's time to go home. It was enjoyable. This is what we call flow. When you get into the flow of eustress chemicals, like when we garden, okay? When you hang around good people, when you go bowling with folks you like, when you have them over, Look at the telomerase in the middle. It's surrounding it. Look at the telomeres. They're getting longer. As long as you've still got telomerase or telomeres, you can grow them back. How much? Depends on how much you've deteriorated them. So I will tell you, you get rid of the bullies ASAP. And yes, 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 I fire people for gossiping behind your back. That's a bully. That is a passive aggressive. Oh, and by the way, those bullies are killing themselves. Is there a test for this? I'm sure there is, Catherine, because the scientists have measured this. And one of the great tests I put, or studies, is they test the telomeres in caregivers. Caregivers who did not have a support network aged 10 to 15 years faster than their counterparts, and they measured their telomeres. But those caregivers who did have a support group, who did get support from other people, they did not age any faster than anybody else because of the telomerase. So yes, Catherine, yeah, I'm not sure what test that is, but scientists have been using that for years. Okay, everybody with me? Okay, so those three things right there will kill you. Now let's just, feel obligated. Let's look at the brain again. Memory loss. We talked about this a little bit last time, but it's worth hitting again to make sure that everybody's in here. I found this as well. Shows up how many we lose with age. Oh, thank you, Sheila. Is everybody seeing the chat? I'm going to send this chat to everybody as well. I'm going to post it. And I'm going to send you all a direct link and this chat. Or you want to cut and paste that. That will tell you about the telomeres. Okay. Yeah. I'm not making this stuff up. Okay. No, thank you, Sheila. That's great. Okay. Now, why do you forget things when you're distressed? Well, that's fight or flight. Okay. So you see a stimulus, it registers in your brain, shoots a message down your vagus nerve. That's your blue cord there. Sitting on top of your kidneys are your adrenal glands. And you release massive amounts of adrenaline and cortisol when you go into severe distress. Okay? Severe distress. Now, that is going to speed up your heart rate. The adrenaline can shoot your heart rate, again, 10 to 30 beats in one heartbeat. Okay. So you flood your body with adrenaline and cortisol. Okay, now remember, you got to understand how the brain works. The 20 to 25% of everything that's in your blood is going to go to your brain. So you are going to flood your brain with massive amounts of cortisol and adrenaline. And that is really to fire up your amygdalas. Your amygdalas, that's your fight or flight response. And understand, this is not done to hurt you. This is done because you've got one fight or flight response, and we don't recognize the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a bully who's sending you a nasty text. Okay, so it's going to fire that up. Look what is attached to your fight or flight response. That is your hippocampus. That's your short-term memory transmitter. Your short-term memory. Now, your short-term memory, this is a neuron. This is what neurons look like. Okay, see the dendrites? Those are the little buttery fingers, very delicate fingers that catch your thoughts. They travel through the body and shoot out through the axon. So you kind of see, shoots in through the dendrites, out through the axon, in through the, and on and on and on and on and on. That's how you catch thoughts. Your brain feels like soft room temperature butter. It is very fragile. Very fragile. Okay, so you want to protect your brain with your life. So think about it. All those little buttery dendrites right there in the hippocampus, you're going to burn them to a crisp. So those are your dendrites, and you're going to fry them, and they're going to die. You kill those little fingers, how are you going to catch any thoughts? That is why we lose our short-term memory, but keep our long-term memory. Your long-term memory is all back up here in the top of your head and your parietal lobe, all back in through the back, away from all the chemicals. A dear friend of mine just passed away at the age of 85. And man, her mind was sharp as a tack for anything that happened in the past. Her short-term memory was not very good, but her long-term memory was there. And that makes sense because this is where all the battle is fought. Okay. And I will tell you, this can kind of go back to Catherine's question. Can we see this stuff? The loss of your hippocampus can be so bad that it can show up on an MRI. An MRI is a structural examination of your brain or body, whatever, but we're going to focus on the brain. So tumors, clots, bleeds, they're good for that. Concussions, they're good for that. Okay, what I'm going to show you next are SPECT scans, which is looking at living tissue, watching you think. An MRI looks the same on a live person as a dead one. There's no difference. It's a hyped up X-ray. You can damage your hippocampus so badly that it will actually show up as dying on an MRI. That is tremendously terrible. Now, let me freeze right there. The neurons in your brain, and I'll tell you, boy, take this to the bank, folks. The neurons in your brain have a life expectancy of 120 years. Is everybody hearing me? Does anybody know anyone 120 years old? No, they're all dead. The telomeres will get you first. Okay, your telomeres will age you first. Okay, knees wear out, elbows wear out. Your brain, you should have 106. Oh, Denise, what's their short-term memory like? Oh, Gina, yeah, I'm sure that there's a way to determine where your hippocampus is other than an MRI, but I just have not run into that yet. Okay, but I would assume the person that's 106 you just referred us to is pretty easygoing type of person, laid back type of person, because it doesn't put the stress on the hippocampus and the back. Yeah, Denise telling us, yeah, very laid back. You see a message here? Get the bullies out of your life. This is what they're doing to you. Okay, so you do not want to lose your short-term memory. You hear what I'm saying? You should be on your deathbed at 106 years old or 110 years old, and you should have your short-term memory. There is no reason you can't keep your short-term memory for the rest of your life. And today we start losing it at 40s, 50s. We're not even halfway there. Yeah, Gina's given us a great comment. Eject, eject, eject. Now, mental impairments. If you can burn out your short-term memory, do you think you could damage the rest of your brain? Oh, yeah. Now, see the brain on the right? That's a healthy brain. Does the brain on the left look kind of, or I'm sorry, the brain on the left is the healthy one. Does the brain on the right look angry? Okay, so there's your limbic system. That is your emotional system. This is normal. This is a 45-year-old guy. They don't sit around and giggle all day, so that's his emotional system. That's a little touch of depression. That's normal. Nothing to worry about. That's just life. See those two guys? That's a little bit of apprehension. Those are your basal ganglia. Okay, so basal ganglia is great. That's why we don't run up and pet some dog or animal we don't know. Okay, that's good. That was Fred Flintstone's defense. He didn't run up to see and pet animals he didn't know. Now, look at the one on the right. Okay, now the one on the left is a normal scan. The one on the right is my brain in 2008. Okay, that is, now look at it compared to the one on the left. My limbic system is inflamed about 10 times. That is bad depression. And you see those two? Those are the basal ganglia. It's supposed to be apprehension. Those are inflamed. And it's not just inflamed like the red parts that are 15%. Look at the one on the right, my basal ganglia. That's 20% hotter. Those are panic attacks. And that up there, that is my corpus callosum. That is the bridge that connects my left and right hemisphere. So if a human has a thought on the right side of their brain, it'll travel across the bridge and back and forth. So we're bilateral. Our thoughts will cross back and forth between our two hemispheres. Horses don't have a corpus callosum. So if you cover up the left eye of a horse and the horse looks at you with his right eye, and then you cover up the right eye so they can see you with the left eye, that horse will not know you because the thoughts don't travel back and forth. That is what we call obsessive compulsive disorder, because a thought will move across, it'll get stuck in that inflammation. And understand what I'm saying. The brain is a physical organ. That is literal, actual inflammation. Okay? So thoughts get stuck. Now you see that diamond? That is a typical pattern for post-traumatic stress disorder. So that's what our soldiers have. Do you know, and it just amazes me. It just amazes me. We train our military in combat. They are the best trained military in the world. We train our police officers again and again and again, maybe not in the right things, but they are trained to back each other up. We train our firefighters so that they can fight fires and administer help to people. Do you know what the most dangerous situation is for military, for our soldiers, for every police officer in this country, and for firefighters? It's when they are at home alone with their gun. 5 times as many soldiers killed themselves in the last 20 years than what were killed in the war. More police officers kill themselves than get killed in the line of duty. More firefighters kill themselves than get killed in the line of duty. And that's why. Why aren't we training these people in this stuff is a sin. Oh, and don't even talk about losing your mind. Okay, that is a bad pattern right there. You can get it back. This is why I'm so excited over this. My 2020 scans are on the right. Do you see a difference? All of the hotspots in my temporal lobes, all on the sides there, which are anger issues, suicidal issues, are gone. They're cured. My OCD is gone. My anxiety is so much better. I don't have panic attacks anymore. I'm like most people. My depression is a little worse. And you know why? Because I was dumb enough to take pro bono cases and help people. And I get too personally involved. Okay? Now, which brain do you want? And I will tell you right now, one thing we know is, as a matter of fact, massive amounts of cortisol in your brain causes Alzheimer's. You take that to the bank. And now, what are we doing here? I want to scare the hell out of you. That's a motivator, isn't it? I had someone this week come up to me. I did this session, went in, did this session, and this woman came up to me. She's in tears. She's like, I know. How do I get my boss to listen to this? And I said, you play him these videos and you scare the ever living hell out of him. And I tell you, I love scaring people. Is everybody scared? Good. Why don't you be scared? That'll motivate you, right? People change for only a few reasons. One is it's pleasurable. It's pleasurable. Good. Thanks, Brenda. Scare the bejeebies out of you. That's what I want to do. People change. If they discovered tomorrow that Hershey's chocolate bars or Godiva chocolate would cure cancer and would make you thin, you couldn't keep it on the shelves, right? Because it's pleasurable and it's good for you. There you go. Why else do people change? Because they are in a position that they are in so much pain now that they will change. That's why you see so many people with heart problems and heart attacks out walking. Maybe we should do the walk before you fall over dead. Oh, yeah. Again, everybody read these comments. You are all so wonderful today. We should schedule 2 hours for this because I would love just to chat with all these comments you're putting in the chat. Do a real dumb poll. How many people do not want Alzheimer's? I think we would be 100% on that, don't you think? No, that should scare that. So I'll tell you right now, if you are working for a bully, and I will tell you, I have never seen a hardcore bully who did not have a mental problem. Okay, so I'll tell you right now, rule number 1, and we're going to talk about this across the next several, or I guess the next 3 months. What do I do to fix this? What do I do? Number 1, you get as many jackasses out of your life as humanly possible. And you change your work environment. That is a given. Okay, is everybody with me? So yeah, I'm going to post this online. If you've got a bully, I'll tell you right now, make them listen to this, because what they are doing to you is killing you. And I'm not being hyperbolic. They're killing you. Okay. And they're killing themselves. And I'll tell you, I have sent probably about 40 some people across the last 14 years to go get brain scans, because I do a lot of executive coaching and managerial coaching. Okay. I've actually got about 10 of them right now, because, I'll tell you right now, you can't coach somebody with a brain on the left. I have sent these people to the Amen clinics for a SPECT scan, and every single one of them came back lit up like a Christmas tree. Okay, I hope you hear how adamant I am. And if you have anybody, because I'm going to post these out there, anybody who's missed this can listen to them. And next month, we're going to start looking at SPECT scans. We're going to start looking at what you do to rebuild your brain. And I'll tell you, this is something we all need, and I want to get this stuff out. Everybody make sense? Okay, if you look in your handout, I gave you the SHRM and HRCI codes. There are, again, HRCI is 604148. 604148. Got a great comment here, Jim. There's not enough emphasis on prevention, and it's all on trying to build your way back. Absolutely. And I will tell you right now, that is, what I've run into is that's the medical profession. I do not understand why someone would want to take a handful of psychotropic medications, why you would want to have open heart surgery. And I got news for you. There is no cure for Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is dead tissue, massive dead tissue. There is no cure. There's only prevention. Activity number for SHRM, 22-YTRH7. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very open as to all the things in the book that got me to where I am and what my son did. My son's brain is about 75% improved from autism. Okay, just graduated from Roosevelt University in Chicago with a 3.91 grade point average, and now wants to go on and get his PhD in neuroscience. Okay, and so I will tell you right now, we want to overcome the stigmas. I think that this is the way to do it. And honestly, if somebody's going to hit me with a stigma or throw a rock at me at this stage in my life, you're going to have to get in line. Okay, you're just too late to the party. Okay, all right. Any last comments from anybody before we break? All right. Hey, I share this with everybody. Someone's daughter was recently diagnosed with autism. Oh, yes. That I will tell you right now, I know all about that. It is like boxing with shadows. You don't know what to hit. But there are very, very common patterns for children with autism in the brain. And let me just clue you in there. One of them is that their cerebellum in the base of their head is not burning hot enough. That's the coordination issues, processing of emotional issues. If I know folks with autism, first thing I always suggest is, hey, make sure that first of all you get a brain scan. That's always a good idea, see exactly what you're dealing with, but put them through the interactive metronome. The interactive metronome will build up the coordination, it will build up the cerebellum, and it will help with everything. How much you can build it up, it depends on how much is going on there. Okay, well, hey, thank you all so much. You're a wonderful group. I look forward to these. It helps give me the eustress chemicals to get through the battles of the next month. And I'll tell you, starting next month, we're going to start looking at how we get this distress out of our bodies and get more and more and more and more eustress in. And rule number one, get the stinking jackasses out of your life. Get them out. And if you're a leader, make sure that you create a safe environment. Gracie, the book isn't out yet. I hope to get it out in October. Just to give you an update. Everything is set. They are the cover is designed. Layout has it right now to make everything look pretty and all lined up and everything. So I hope we're going to launch here within the next 30 days, because I really put the push on, because I'm running into so many people that want to hear this message. And like I said, when we launch this thing, I want anybody who wants it, I want them to get it. Anybody who wants this is going to get it. So we're going to list it for $1. It's going to be $1 on your Kindle. And this is, I think it's that important. I truly do. All right. Hey, thank you for helping me feel good and helping you. I hope you found this useful. And hey, I will be sending you out a link to the YouTube video, and we will talk soon. All right, everybody, take care and live well.